last week in class, we talked about factoring. So this video is going to go over some factoring practice. We'll go over a couple examples, we'll review our steps, and then there'll be an opportunity for you to solve some problems on your own so I can see how you are doing. All right, so first off, we'll take a look at our standard form. So x squared plus bx plus c. Okay, I'm going to put standard form up here. And then we had factored form. And we call that x plus m times x plus n. All right. Now, our pattern that we saw working with the algebra tiles last week was that m plus n equaled b, and m times n equals c. So now we're going to go through our steps again. So if you did not get these down in class last week or were absent, now would be a good time to write these down, and then we'll do some examples to go along with them. So our first step is to find the factor pairs of C. Our second step is to ID the factor pair that adds up to B. And then our third step is to write into factored form. Now we can also check our answer. We can check by using the distributive property. Okay, now I'm going to keep these steps handy. I'll be addressing them. Okay, so I make sure that you can look back at these too, and I'll be addressing them as we go through a few examples together. All right, so our first example that we're going to do is x squared plus 2x minus 15. So first of all, I'd like to see what does c equal and what does b equal. So our middle number, that is what's going to be b, so that's positive 2. And then c here, c is this whole negative 15. Okay, b is the whole positive 2, but c is negative 15. So our factor pairs of negative 15 are pairs of numbers that multiply to make negative 15. So we have 1, negative 15. Let's see, we'll go negative 1, 15. 3, negative 5, and negative 3, 5. So that's all that's going to be for this one. Now let's think about which of these adds up to 2. See, 1 plus negative 15 is negative 14. Negative 1 plus 15 is 14. Negative 3 plus 5, that's going to add up to 2. So I'll write that over here. Negative 3 plus 5 equals 2. Okay, so negative 3 and 5. Negative 3 and 5. So our factored form is x minus 3, x plus 5. All right. Now let's do another one together. X squared. Let's go minus 10x plus 24. And then let's figure out what c is going to be and what is b. So once again, c is our last term. And so that positive 24. And b is our middle term. Now, once again, you got to keep that sign with it. So it's going to be negative 10. Okay? So over here, negative 10. We're going to find our factor pairs of c. That's our first step. So we have 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 4, not 3 and 4, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. Now, we also have to be careful to remember our negative factors, because any of these are all going to add up to be positive numbers, but we need to add up to make negative 10. So we can also say negative 1 and negative 24 multiplies to make 24. Negative 2 and negative 12, negative 3 and negative 8, and negative 4 and negative 6. Okay, so looking for which pair makes negative 10, so it's not going to be any of the positive ones. Let's start here and here. We've got negative 4 plus negative 6. Oh, that's actually going to be exactly what we want. Negative 4 plus negative 6 equals negative 10. So there are our numbers that we want. We're going to plot those into factored form. So we have x minus 4 times x minus 6. All right. So now something else on our exit tickets is that every time we want to make sure we have two factors. Okay, two factors. Then we have two factors. All right. Everything that we're going to look at is only going to have two factors. It's not going to have one. It's not going to have more than two. It's only going to have two factors. All right. Let's go do one more, and then I'll have a few problems for you to do on your own so I can see how we're doing on our factoring problems. All right. Our last one that we're going to look at also includes negatives. X squared minus 8x minus 20. And then once again, we have to find C and B. And so C is our last term, negative 20. And B is our middle term, negative 8. Got to keep those negatives there. All right. Now factors of negative 20. We have negative 1 and 20. 1 and negative 20. 2 and negative 10. Negative 2 and 10. 4 and negative 5. And negative 4 and positive 5. So if we're looking through these ones of which ones add to negative 8, let's see, we've got a positive 8 right here with negative 2 and 10. Oh, and here we go. 2 and negative 10 will give us negative 8. So 2 plus negative 10 equals negative 8. And we're going to plug those into our factored form. All right. So there are now going to be probably about 2 to 4 problems that I would like you to complete so I can see how we are doing on factoring and to see what we need to talk about more in class.